Hello Internet, Chef Ben here, and today I'm going to show you how to make something called a Parmentier. Sounds fancy, it isn't. Essentially, it's just taking leftover braise or stew, covering with mashed potatoes, and baking it, usually in kind of small dishes. Parmentier was the guy who introduced potatoes to France, so they named everything top of the potatoes after him. Okay, so I have a braise I made last night, I have some potatoes cooking. I'll show you how to make the best mashed potatoes you ever had while we're at it. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Alright, so the braise I made last night was actually goat braise. If you've never had goat, you should really check it out. It has a really unique flavor, it's really delicious. So all I did was take these chunks of goat meat that most of them were still in the bone, I seared them up, and then I braised them with some beef stock, some carrot, tomato puree, celery, onion, the usual stuff, some spices, reduced that down, cooked it in the oven, and then just let that kind of cook until the meat was really tender. So I took that, I cut it up, and that's what we have in this bowl right here. Okay, so that's just leftovers. It's something that I would just eat by itself, but since I'm doing this, it's just kind of like multi-purposing. I also cooked some beautiful Brussels sprouts. I don't know if you can see this thing back here. I got some Brussels sprouts still in the stock yesterday. So I cooked some of those. I just blanched them, so dropped them in boiling water, then in cold water, cut them in half, and then seared them in a pan. Okay, so they have this really nice caramelization. So I'm just going to cut these up, throw them in there. We'll mix all this up, put it in a ramekin, top it with our mashed potato, and we'll pop it in the oven. Alright, so I'm going to cut these up. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, our potatoes are cooked. They're just kind of steam drying in the sink behind me here. We have the pot that the potatoes are cooked in. We're going to throw about 2 tablespoons of butter in there. And we're going to add about a half cup of milk. Now the burner's still hot, so we don't have to turn it on. To that we're going to add a nice pinch of salt, nice pinch of pepper. It's important to always heat your butter and your milk up when you're making mashed potatoes. Otherwise, when you add the potato in or you add the milk and the butter to the potato, it's going to cool them down. So this way, everything's hot going in. And if I wanted to, if I was making like a big dinner for a lot of people, I could just set this aside after I get the potatoes in and mash it, put a lid on it, and just leave it on the stove, off the burner, and it'll sit there for half an hour and still be hot. Alright, so we're just going to let our potatoes steam for a minute. We have our butter and our milk warming up. We'll put them in, we'll mash them, and we'll be right back. Okay, our potatoes are nice and mashed. You can see them in there. And at this point, we could stop. We could leave them as they are, and they'll be good. But we're not looking for good. We're looking to make the best mashed potatoes ever, right? So we have our strainer. It's very, very fine. We're just going to put it in a bowl. And these are already mashed. These already have the butter and the milk in them, or cream if you want to use it, and the salt and pepper. If you do this before you add the butter and the salt and the milk, or the dairy, they're a little harder to pass through this because they're a lot firmer. So all we're going to do is push these through, and it's not going to be hard because we already have the butter and milk in there, right? And you can see that coming out the bottom. And what's happening is any little lump that's in there is being pushed through and broken down. So what's coming out is the creamiest, smoothest mashed potato you've ever had. And that's how you make the best mashed potatoes ever. Alright, our mashed potatoes done. We have our mix from our leftover braise and our Brussels sprouts. We're just going to spoon some into these ramekins. Just about 3/4 full. Like this. We're going to take this really smooth, beautiful mashed potato, push that on top. Now this might not seem like a lot, but with a salad as a nice light lunch, this is perfect. Because you get that kind of hearty, fill you up feeling, but you also don't feel disgustingly full. So we're just going to put a nice layer of mashed potatoes on this, put a little bit of butter on top, put it on a baking sheet, put it in the oven, 400 degrees, 15-20 minutes. It will start bubbling, the potato will get a little crisp. It'll be beautiful. I'll show you when they come out. Alright, we're back, and the Parmentiers are almost done. And again, Parmentier really just means putting potato on something. So if you have leftover pulled pork or buttered chicken or whatever, put it in a little dish, cook up some mashed potato, put that on top, bake it in the oven, and you have a Parmentier. You have a new use for leftovers. And again, you can make this ahead. You can put this in the fridge with the mashed potato on it, wrap it in saran wrap, let it sit for a day. So if you have some stew in the freezer, pull it out, make a couple of these, put them in the fridge. The next day you can just throw them in the oven for 20 minutes, and you have a quick lunch, nice little salad with it. So I'm going to pull these out of the oven. When they're bubbling, that's how you know they're done. Nice and sizzling. I'm going to pull this up close to the camera so you can have a look. I don't know if you can see that. See the bubbles? So you know it's done. It's hot. And that's it. It's really, really simple. And like I'm gonna eat these, but I don't need to taste it. I had the braised last night. It's delicious. So it's really just about putting that potato on top and using leftovers in a new way. I'm Chef Ben. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Chef Ben Kelly. On Facebook at Ben Kelly Cooks. Follow the YouTube channel at Chef Ben, I think. Just whatever. Just follow me everywhere. There's lots of great stuff coming up. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.